Okay, what if I told you that $1,000, yeah, an amount you might just spend on stuff you won't even remember next year, could be the single most important grand you ever touch? Well, today, we're going to break down exactly how to turn that money into a serious tool for your entire financial future.
So let's imagine this. Someone hands you $1,000. Now I want you to think of it not as a gift, but as a test. Seriously, what you decide to do right now with this money could literally be the difference between being financially free or feeling stuck for years to come. This is step one. This sets the stage.
Because that money, it has two very different futures ahead of it. One path is a trap, where it just kind of slowly loses its power. The other path? It transforms that cash into a tool that works for you day and night, even while you sleep. Let's see what that actually looks like.
Just look at this. It's a huge difference. On the left, you've got the trap. You stick your $1,000 in a regular savings account, 30 years from now, you might have about $1,160. But here's the kicker. Because of inflation, what you can actually buy with that money has been sliced in half. Ouch. Now, look to the right. That's the tool, investing. We don't know the exact number yet, but the key is that your money is out there working for you, growing all on its own. So, what's the secret sauce here? What's this almost magical force that creates that massive gap between the two outcomes? Well, it has a name, and it's probably the most important concept you need to know for building wealth. It's called compound interest.
Let's make this super simple. Compound interest is basically your money making babies. You earn interest on the money you first put in, right? But then you start earning interest on the interest you've already made. It's this incredible snowball effect for your bank account. It's the engine that drives all serious wealth.
And you know what? The recipe for making this happen is unbelievably simple. You start with that $1,000. You add just $100 a month, that's it. You aim for an average 8% return each year, which, by the way, is pretty much the historical average for the stock market. And then you wait. After 30 years of just following that simple plan, that $1,000 turns into over $150,000. But get this is the craziest part. Over those 3 decades, you only put in about $37,000 of your own money. The rest of it, we're talking over $100,000, is just pure growth. That is the power we're tapping into.
So now you can see the potential, right? It's huge. But before you can get that kind of financial liftoff, you've got to run through a quick but absolutely critical pre-flight checklist. It's all about building a solid foundation first.
And really, there's no better way to think about this than with this quote from Warren Buffett. Before you invest your money in the market, you have to invest in your own security and your own mindset. These first couple of steps, they are non-negotiable. You just can't skip them.
Okay, first up, the mindset shift. This is not about getting rich quick. It's not a lottery ticket. It's a long-term plan. Honestly, the biggest financial risk you can take isn't losing some money on an investment. It's not starting at all and losing decades of growth. Second, you need a safety net. Before you invest a single dollar, take $300 to $500 of that first grand and stick it in a separate high-yield savings account. That's your mini emergency fund. It's what protects you from having to sell your investments if your car breaks down.
All right, foundation is set. You're ready. Now for the fun part, how to actually put your money to work. We're going to keep this super simple. No complicated charts, no confusing jargon, just a straightforward, actionable strategy.
The absolute key here is to keep it simple. For beginners, trust me, boring is beautiful. You do not need to be chasing the next hot stock or crypto trend. You just need reliable, steady growth. That means focusing on things like index funds or ETFs. Think of them like a shopping basket that holds tiny pieces of hundreds of different companies all at once. Or you could even use a robo-advisor, which is just a service that does all the investing for you based on your goals. Simple.
And hey, if you're thinking, I don't have enough money to buy a share of some huge company, think again. That's where something called fractional shares comes in. It lets you buy just a small slice of a share for maybe just a few dollars. The point is, you don't have to wait until you have thousands. You can start right now with whatever you've got.
And here is how you make that growth unstoppable. You make it a habit. Wealth isn't built in these big, dramatic moments. It's built in small, quiet, consistent steps. And the most powerful way to do this is to automate it. Set a recurring transfer, even if it's just $25 a month, and just let it happen in the background. This takes emotion out of the equation and basically makes discipline your default setting. So that first $1,000, it's not the end goal. It's the launch pad. It is the first step on this incredible journey from a single investment to a lifetime of financial growth. So let's take a quick look at what comes next.
Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. The habits that lead to success are pretty simple. Just keep learning, read some books, follow the financial news. And then, as you start to earn more money in your career, just bump up those automatic contributions. Over time, you can start to diversify into other things like REITs, which are basically companies that own real estate, or bonds, which are like loans you give to a government or a big corporation.
And this brings us all the way back to the core idea of everything we've talked about today, and it's summed up perfectly by Albert Einstein. Compound interest really is like a force of nature. Once you understand how it works, you can make it work for you. If you don't, you'll end up paying it to other people your whole life through credit cards and loans.
You now have the blueprint. You've seen exactly how a small, smart start can grow into something truly significant. The seed for your financial future has been planted. So, the only question left to ask is, how big are you going to let it grow?